Welcome to the show, everyone. Let's get my radio guys going here. Welcome to the show. Here we are again on Trash Talking Tuesday. It's a little bit early. I don't know. My watch says it's a little bit early, but hey, what the hey? We are here on Tuesday, September 23rd. My name is Paul K. Lemire. Gary Wilkins, there's the sign. I remembered it today. Your city, your voice, of course, in the studios of 4680Q in beautiful downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, across from the recently trimmed meteor crater. And, I always watch the meteor crater, see what's going on. A guy went over there, dumped a bunch of crap in it, and then threw a bunch of junk in it. So, hey, it's working. Now they can get at it because there's not so many noxious weeds there. It's well trimmed. They gave it a Brazilian wax job over there. Now it's getting green too because we had some rain. That's right, we had some beautiful rain last night. Perfect, balmy 68 degrees out there when I got up this morning at 5 in the morning. I mean, that's pretty warm for September. Usually the nights cool down, but last night it really didn't cool down a lot at 68 degrees. And everything was a bit damp from the rain, which is good. We can use the rain. Everything's looking a bit greener, a bit nicer. The trees are starting to turn. I mean, the trees down here on Park Street are all yellow. They've already started to go yellow. And this weather is perfect for a lot of things. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So pretty darn good day for the end of September. And the weather is supposed to hang around like this, the same kind of temperatures, till at least Thanksgiving. And for any of you listening, that may not be from Canada, Thanksgiving in Canada falls on October 11th, 12th, and 13th, that weekend. And oh boy, I guess I get the day off on Monday the 13th. Beautiful. So yeah, it's supposed to hang around at least till then. That's a couple weeks away. I have no problem with that. I can't complain, to be honest with you. I'll take this weather all year. Doesn't matter to me. What's coming, I don't like. So last night, NHL hockey started for me anyway. Started on the weekend for Toronto fans and Boston fans and some other fans. With the weekend seeing some preseason games and the Habs playing last night. They won 2-1 in an exciting battle with Pittsburgh. Talk more about that tomorrow on Habsolutely at noon on 4680Q. Players are all trying to make their case for staying in the NHL. A lot of big name players sit out a lot of the games and let the young guys go at it and see if they got what it takes to make the team. We play Philly tonight. Check the NHL schedule for your favorite team. And I'll talk, like I say, more about what went on last night and tonight on Absolutely tomorrow. So today, what are we going to talk about? There's so much going on. You can't jam it all in. And we got to talk Carney. We got to talk crime. We have to talk about autism. A great meeting yesterday with Trump about autism. A lot of other topics. So stay tuned as I go into my sponsors here, talk about my sponsors, and then we're going to get right into the show with viewer comments. So all my sponsors, I thank them. God bless you all. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. It's really great. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hamel Machine Company, and Niagara Parks Commission. So let's start out with Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop like we always do. It's a daily thing. When we talk about winter, fall's here. Fall's officially here. That happened yesterday or on Sunday. I think Sunday was the first day of fall, 21st of September. And that means that you know where we're going. We're headed to the winter. You don't want to let your car go until the worst day of the year where you got to take it out and you got to find a way to get it fixed. Be proactive. Just give Ken Hunter a call at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Tell Ken I want my car checked over. He's going to go through all your systems, every one of your systems. He'll go through them all. He'll make sure your heater's working. He'll make sure your defrosters are working. He'll make sure that all your brakes are safe, all systems are go, and away you go. You're good to go for the winter. You don't have to worry about breakdowns. You don't have to worry about anything. That's the way you want to do it. Proactive is right. And also, if you get in a wreck, he's got a full body shop there. Don't worry about it. Take your car in. He'll give it back to you in showroom condition. Yep, that's the way he operates down there. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. WildBillsAuto.ca is the website. Check it out. Give him a call. Get your car ready for winter. We know it's coming. Why procrastinate? Pick up that phone today. And while you're on his website tooling around, seeing all the different great stuff that he does, why not go over to YouTube? Why not go to the video? Paul Lemire, you can look it up, or Your City, Your Voice. Why not subscribe? It's free. It costs you nothing. You'll get a little ding dong when I put a show up, and you can watch the show and leave comments and that kind of thing. So, yeah, subscribe to the channel. I know, there's people who watch it, but not everybody subscribe. Got 174 or 5 subscribers. Let's get to 200. 25 away. Come on, share the video. Tell your friends. Let's get everybody in here, because in one short year, we have an election coming up. And we want to make sure everybody's advised about what's going on. We want them to know where their tax dollars are going and make decisions based on merit, not anything else. Are they doing a good job or not when they spend our money? Because they do take care of your money. It's your money they're spending. You should know what's going on, and you should vote for the people who are good custodians of your dollar. They worry about your money. Would you expect anything less from anybody else dealing with your money? I mean, $4,000 a year for a lot of people is a lot of money, and that's what you're giving them in your taxes to take care of. You trust them? Are they doing the right thing? You decide. That's where your vote comes in. Okay, so let's get to viewer comments. Speaking of viewer comments, let's get to viewer comments right now. And at 881 Slick, okay, I stand corrected. You did mention Wild Bill's Auto Shop. And Gary's a great guy. That's Gary Wilkins. Great guy, good friends with Ken Hunter. He was listening, I guess, to the show, and he missed me talking about Wild Bills and said, "You missed Wild Bills." And I'm going, "Oh my goodness, Gary, I would never miss Wild Bills. No way." And so So you went back. I always watch the show, a bit of it anyway, to make sure everything's working all right, the volumes and stuff. And sure enough, I talked about Wild Bill. So Gary says, "Okay, I stand corrected." There you go. I do not miss my buddy Ken Hunter's Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. And Gary, looking back there, there's the sign. So I got the sign back today. Everything seems to be going all right today. So far, the technology, you never know. You just don't know. At Penny Brookify, who I haven't had a comment from in a while. So it's good to see Penny Brookify back. Thank you very much for the comment. She says, when the Stunads go to the trouble of creating a fake name to troll you online, you know you made it. LOL. And I was talking about that yesterday, where I had a conversation with somebody named Benny Peter, and when I started looking closer, because I don't creep people's Facebook pages. They comment, I comment back. I don't monkey around with going all over looking for who they are, if I know them or not. But it ended up being my buddy Betty Sarah, and that's what she's talking about there. And I was talking about that yesterday, and yeah, so there you go. There you go. Thanks for listening, and thanks for the comment. And I really didn't have any other comments. Surprisingly enough, sometimes I talk about controversial stuff. Not everybody agrees with me. Probably a lot of people don't agree with me, but sometimes they leave comments about it, and I hope you do. Leave comments. That's what it's all about. Okay, so crime everywhere with no answers in sight. But you know what? There's no will from the politicians to fight crime. They don't want to stop crime. I don't know why. I have no idea why they wouldn't. Eventually, it's going to affect them and their family. It has to. Odds are, one of these days, somebody's going to get mugged or something. But that's only because they don't have the will to do it. They talk a lot. We've got to stop crime. This cannot go on. We've heard Edsel Ford and Chili Con Carney, and Chili Con Carney probably likes it. He wants to kill Canada anyway. But our local politicians, our local police, 40 chief police chief and all these other guys. And then they'll come at budget time and ask you for more money because they don't have enough money to fight crime. But we've given them $213 million, and they've had significant raises for a long time, and crime's getting worse, not better. So that tells you what's going on. And they give you a lot of lip service. But is anybody doing anything about it? Nope. Case in point, hotel worker, local hotel. She was assaulted by a man that entered the hotel, approached her, engaged in an indecent act. I don't know what the hell the guy did, if he whipped out his wiener or what he did, and attempted to make inappropriate physical contact with her. In broad daylight, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, this is happening. These disgraziatus are walking the streets and causing trouble. The employee was able to alert a supervisor and call for assistance that a brown-skinned person had assaulted her and escaped. So who was this pervert? Who was this pervert that engaged in a indecent act? I don't know what that was. And in front of the woman and then tried to assault her. Well, it was Faisal Jadua, 26 years old from Welland. So the guy drove all the way from Welland to do this. As usual, Jadua had a rap sheet but was left out to wander the streets and commit crime. It never fails. It's the same people with a criminal record walking the streets, but they can't solve this. How about if you threw him in jail? That'd solve it. He wouldn't be able to do it again. No, or deported him, even better. Get rid of the jerk. Now, they don't do that. He's out and wandering the streets and committing more crimes. He's wanted on disobeying a court order, sexual assault, and an indecent act. I don't get it. Even across the street from me, court services are there once a week looking for someone, and nobody can find this person. It's ridiculous. As usual, we have all the same questions. Every time, we all have the same questions, and we have all the same questions. Why is this guy still running around Canada? Why is this goofball on the streets? Why isn't this guy on the first plane back to wherever it is he came from? And why isn't the guy in jail if he's from Canada? No bail, no incarceration. Go out, do what you want without fear of the law. And here's the sad part. When they finally do find the guy, he'll be pushed through the turnstile of the courts of the Canadian justice system and be back on the streets again at some other hotel assaulting somebody. That's what I mean. They talk big about crime and they know who the guys are. They know they're out in the streets and they don't do anything about it. This is a recurring theme of the Canadian justice system. My thing is detain, deport, incarcerate. We need a Trump-style sweep of Canadian cities to round up these terrorists, and that's what they are. But it's never going to happen in Canada as the invasion continues. There's not a thing we can do about it. I mean, sure, yeah, if you find the guy, you can beat the hell out of him, but then you go to jail for assault. And believe me, they'll throw you in jail. You can't stand behind a racism or anything else. You're going to go to jail. You're going to the can. Yeah, you have nothing to stand behind. It's just stupid, but that's the way it works. And I talk about this all the time. I talk about this every day. I tell people about it, but nothing changes. I've been doing this for 3 years here and years before that. Nothing changes. It gets worse as they open the borders up and let these people in. And you say, oh, you're racist. Hey, look at who's doing it. Just look at the news. You think I'm racist? Look at the news. I'm just telling you the way it is. This guy wasn't a German. He wasn't from England. And most of them aren't. Speaking about crime, where we're on that subject, I mean, I get tired of talking about it, and a lot of times I don't even report it anymore. There's so much of it. It would do the whole show just talking about these cases and what's going on. Great article in the review today by Victoria Nicolau about today's teachers and what they have to put up with in their classrooms today. And this goes right back to the family. You talk about Charlie Kirk and Christian values and family and everything. This goes right back to the family, mother, father, taking care of the kids. And today in classrooms, the teachers are fed up. They've had it. Punching, kicking, spitting, biting, throwing objects at teachers, no respect, no fear, threats and profanity in the way these kids today deal with authority, and they hate authority. You tell them anything, and you know why they hate authority? Because their parents don't treat them with authority. They're their bros. They're smoking weed with them. Hey, come on, yeah. Or they don't deal with them at all. Throw them in front of the computer. Go. Don't bother me. And in big cities, you can usually include, with all the other things I just mentioned, knifings and shootings. These little brats need to be sent back to the 60s and 70s for a lesson in manners. But hey, they treat their parents like that too. They abuse their parents like that too. They yell at them, scream at them, call them whatever, say they're going to arrest them, going to have them arrested. And the parents say, oh, they're just expressing themselves. No, they're not. They're little brats. I mean, they just give them some more Prozac and Ritalin and any other drug that'll shut them up, and they'll be okay. But no, they grow up to be little a-holes. They grow up to be big a-holes. And you wonder why a 22-year-old loony shot Charlie Kirk in the neck because he didn't like what Charlie said, and he killed him dead. Well, hey, right here, punching, kicking, spitting, biting, throwing objects at teachers, no respect, no fear, threats and profanity. They don't want to deal with authority. They even the cops. It doesn't matter who it is. And you see that with Antifa and BLM and all these rioters. They don't care. They're not afraid. They know nothing's going to happen to them. I mean, come on. In our day, any kid that did that would get clocked. I've seen teachers throw brushes at these kids. They're lucky they didn't get hit with them. And if you get really aggressive, they punch them in the mouth. And then a trip to the principal's office or hospital, whichever they needed. But eventually that kid had to go home. And believe me, when the kid got home, all hell broke loose. His father would make the principal look like Mr. Rogers. He was the second step to an attitude correction, and probably the worst step. I mean, ever since these kids have been allowed to do whatever they want and just defy authority and bite and punch and kick and spit and do everything else, they've gotten worse. But not only with teachers, with everybody, parents, police, employers, anyone with authority. Teachers say their day is spent putting out fires from angry children that are not afraid to talk back and hurl insults. One kid told the teacher when reprimanded, "You're so terrible. I can't believe you have a boyfriend. How can anybody love you?" That kid needs a slap in the yap. Another said, "My dad has a gun, and I'm going to bring it to school and show you." Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? Ooh, that kid would be gone. He wouldn't be going to any school. You go home and let your parents teach you. We don't want you here anymore. That's what they have to deal with. There were 4,400 incidents of violence in Ontario schools last year that were reported. You could probably triple that number of the ones that weren't reported. Teachers were abused by these kids and they just never bothered reporting it. And you think metal detectors are there to keep the students from harming each other? No, they're there to keep the students from harming the teachers. That's how bad it's been. In a report based on responses from 12,000 educators across the province found 74.6% had experienced violent or disruptive incidents on the job, with more than a third saying they face them daily. Every day they have to put up with this. Educational assistants and child and youth workers had it even worse. 95.8% said they faced violence at work, and half of them saying it happened every single day. These are astounding statistics. Astounding. And you wonder why Jadul Baboobi is out there doing crap? These kids get away with this stuff. Oh, nobody wants to blame the students or parents. They blame overcrowded classrooms, less resources, other infirmities. No, quit it. Put the blame where it belongs, directly on the parents and the kids, along with their lax rules regarding student behavior and just behavior in public. See these kids yelling and screaming in stores, grabbing stuff. They have no respect for their parents. They tell their parents to F off, dude. It's unbelievable what you see with kids. I mean, when in my day, we didn't see that. People had respect. These kids had respect, but not anymore. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. You let these kids get away with this, and guess what? They get worse. In our day, you get a rap on the hand with a strap or a ruler or anything the teacher could find to hit you with. And hey, I went to a Catholic school. And guess what? Mother Mary Joseph coming down the hall in that black and white habit. Yeah, that's a thing of nightmares. That's a thing of nightmares. Then you had to go home and you had to tell your parents why Mother Mary Joseph whacked you on the hand with the strap. Then you got it again, only it was a belt this time. Break out the bastone. That was the rule of the day. These kids need a lesson in respect for everything, including themselves. They don't even respect themselves. No direction at home. The parents blame the teachers for the kids' deficiencies, and nobody wants to put the blame where it belongs. There are no more sirs. They are all bros or dudes. They don't even respect the guys who clean the halls at school. I mean, like they're our buddies, those guys. What's the answer? Well, there isn't one. There isn't one, not in this mamby-pamby society we live in, where discipline and respect are outlawed in exchange for freedom of expression. And the child is never wrong. Teacher reports the child. The parent comes in and says, "What'd you do to him? Why'd you make him like that?" It's your fault. Always the teacher's fault, too, never the kids. No discipline at home. The parents want to smoke weed with their kids. Come on, let's light up a joint. Who cares? I mean, parents have to be parents, and that's what our parents were. Yes, we got along with our parents, or we didn't. Some people didn't. But no matter what they thought of their parents, they respected them. They weren't bros. They were our parents. They were respected. And you knew that if you got out of hand and you became a real jerk, you'd get tuned up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I was never afraid of my parents. They never hit me at all. They never hit me at all. But then again, I never gave them reason to. I tried to stay on the straight and narrow. We did stuff our parents probably wouldn't have liked if they found out. We were going over the river at 16, having a couple of sody pops. Well, that's what we did. That's what we did. They never knew. Oh, if they would have known, it would have been trouble. But I remember going over to Gabe's, and my parents used to hang out there, my uncles and everything. And I have to look in the front window. My buddies would go, "Come on, let's go in for a beer." Okay. I have to look in the front window through the door to make sure my buddy, my cousin, Ronnie Gabrielli's father, wasn't working behind the bar. Or my other uncles were sitting at the bar somewhere in there. We used to get into big trouble if we got. Today, the kids don't care. They drink at home. 14, and the parents go, "Well, I'd rather have them here drinking than out in the street." No, they shouldn't be drinking. They shouldn't be getting sex changes at 12 or 13 years old and be put on, like it's just we live in a wacky world. And I just keep saying, I'm glad I'm old. I'm glad I'm old because I'm going to be gone before it really goes to hell. Although I don't know, I might make it until it goes to hell. Who knows? My mother's 100, doing okay so far, knock on wood. So anyway, it's just very, very discouraging to see the way teachers are treated, and people complain about what they get paid and everything else. Even I do. But at the end of the day, I mean, this has got to stop. But it's not going to come from teachers' unions or anything else or giving them more money. That isn't going to stop it. And eventually he gets tired of it no matter what you're getting paid. It's got to come from the politicians. And it's got to come from educators who lay the law down on these kids. I mean, they need direction. Kids need direction. And if you don't give it to them, they do what they want. And when they do what they want, guess what? That's a recipe for disaster. Your parents used to be strict with you. But at the end of the day, the kids whose parents weren't strict with them were the ones who always got into trouble because they had no supervision. They had no guidelines. There you go. Okay. Hey, you know what? this is one of my favorite times of year, and I'm going to get into that in about 2 seconds after I talk about my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Take a bathroom break if you like, but you should listen about one of the best pizzas in Niagara Falls. And why is it one of the best pizzas in Niagara Falls? Not because I say so, but because they use fresh ingredients. They use the Mancini family recipe for the sauce and for the crust. Been around 40 years, tried and true. And then they know how to mix the cheese and the sauce on that crust in the right ratios to give you, voila, a beautiful pizza pie. Add fresh toppings to it. How could you possibly go wrong? You can't. It's a beautiful thing. Now, how do you get one of these beautiful pizzas? Well, you dial 905-374-2222, or you can go to the website Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Pete's Pizza, victoria.ca. That's the website. And you know what? They just don't make good pizza. They have wings, they have panzerotti, they have poutine, they have steak and cheese poutine, steak sandwiches. They're bringing out a new chicken parm sandwich, which I tried and was really good. I don't know if it's available to the public yet, but it was pretty good. Take my word for it. Ask Peter Dichter if you don't believe me. Hey, they're opening a new store, Kaler and Thoroldstone. So all you beautiful people in the northwest of Niagara Falls, you got your own Pete's Pizza now, run by the same people, Mike and Rex. They're going to take care of you. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. Get your pizza today. They use Dine and Dash and all the other services. Support our sponsors. They support the show. So, one of my favorite times of year is here. Why, you ask? Because it is officially apple season. I eat an apple every day. My favorite is Macintosh. And they're saying that the apples this year are going to have a sweeter and more flavorful taste to them. Why? Because of the hot, dry summer with cooler late summer temperatures. That's why. Apple growers say the weather has really worked in their favor this year. The summer heat boosted their sugar levels, and the cooler temperatures really bring out the beautiful color and flavor. The crops are high quality, as good a crop as they can be. So there you go. This is, I go out, I'm going to go and buy a bunch of them. They last a long time too. I take my apples, you can buy them now. You put them in a basket in a cool, dark place downstairs in the basement or something. And guess what? They'll last a long time. They last a long time, apples. As a matter of fact, even after they're harvested, you can go to these places in, November, December, and still get apples. Even January, you still get apples that are great. So what a bumper crop they've had. And they've avoided frost. They've avoided hail. They've avoided other major crop damaging weather or disease. And it's a bumper crop. They have lots. So that means the prices should be maybe a little bit lower. Want to find local apples? Visit our local roadside stands, your grocery store, your local farmers markets. Ours is at the McBain Center on Saturday mornings. You can visit Pick Your Own Farms. They're all over the place. Either way, great time of year. If you're an apple fan like me, I advise to go get some fresh apples. Have an apple a day, keeps the doctor away. You can't beat it. And I went right from my other favorite season, peach season, and right into apple season. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And, we were in Erie, and I went to the Walmart there. And I'm going to tell you, they had peaches this big around. They were like softball size. I couldn't believe it. Like one of those peaches was equal to 2, maybe even 3 of the ones we get around here. I don't know how good they were. I never had one. I should have bought one and tried it. But you know what I bought? Apples. Like apples. Okay, let's go over this goofball Mark Carney. Chili con Carney, Art Carney, whatever you want to call him. This guy gets goofier by the second. So he's getting fallout from his decision to acknowledge the Palestinian state. It's having big repercussions. Trump said it will now be impossible for the U.S. to make a deal with Canada now that they're backing a terrorist state. And Trump gave a big address to the United Nations this morning, and I watched it. And this was one of the things he mentioned about this acknowledging the Palestinian state and rewarding Hamas terrorists for their bad behavior. Trump said it would be almost impossible to make a deal with Canada now that they're backing a terrorist state. So that basically puts a nail in any trade deal. And don't forget, Carney is announcing to the world, without parliamentary approval, Canada's designation as of Palestine as a state, recognizing them as a state. And that could be a criminal matter in itself. Stay tuned to this one because the repercussions have not even begun to see fall yet. And it's a slap in the face to our Israeli allies. This is going to embolden Hamas. This is going to embolden the Palestinians. These people that are already rioting and causing trouble are even going to cause more because they're aided and abetted by the left-wing radicals and Antifa. Antifa is a worldwide organization. And if you don't believe me, Italy is learning about repercussions of saying no to these terrorist Palestinians. The Muslim population is rioting in Italy. These open borders, they let them all in, and now they're burning it to the ground. Milan being the center of the terrorism right now, but all big cities are under threat. Islamists are rioting and burning down the city of Milan. You know, I talked about this years ago, and there is a tipping point. They're pretty quiet and meek when they're 1 or 2% of the population. But when they get to be 10 or 15% of the population, which we're seeing now, they're a huge part of the population in Niagara Falls. That's when they start causing trouble. So Gabriella Meloni, the Prime Minister, President of Italy, said she would not recognize the Palestinian state. And guess what? Bang! It set off all these riots. And then you have to wonder if Mark Carney recognized it just because he didn't want to have these people rioting in his country. And I talked about this years ago that when they get to a certain percentage, they're going to cause a lot of trouble. They do not believe in the same things that we do. They are not like us. Aided by Antifa, aided by the left-wing radicals that want to bring down the system and move to socialism or something like that, even Sharia law. Antifa, Trump declared a terrorist group, and rightly so. Yeah, just saying they won't recognize Palestine, and bang, you got the terrorists acting up. Carney, Stamer from England, and Macron from France are all holding hands and caving into the Palestinian bullies. They have let in so many immigrants that now they fear what would happen, and they look to Italy to see that they were right. It's not a good excuse. It's not a good excuse, but it is one. But that isn't good enough. It's not a good enough reason to recognize terrorists. All I can say is God help Italy. These terrorists destroy every city they're allowed into, and Canada is no different from Italy. You say no, they riot, they burn, they loot. Antifa starts up, funded by George Soros and the rest of these guys, these left-wing radicals. And we've seen it here already. I mean, we've seen them protesting up in Toronto and causing trouble, but it's going to get worse. Oh, and just a reminder, when the topic of recognizing the Palestinian state came up in the House of Commons on March 18, 2024, before the dictator Carney got elected, it was defeated by a vote of 204 to 117. So suck on that one there, Chili Con Carney. I don't get it. And now he's also rejoicing and praising China for their global carbon efforts, their carbon control efforts. They're at like 26% of all the carbon released into the world. 26%. Canada's at 1.6%. And they don't even give a darn. They don't care. They're not even going to clean any air up. They're building more coal-fired power plants and everything else. They couldn't care less. And Carney's praising these guys. Oh, they have all the big engineers there. They're the best. They're going to stop everything. No, they're not. We're the best. 1.6% is nothing. Doesn't even mean anything, but Canadians are paying huge with their carbon taxes and all the other baloney about climate change. It's a hoax. It's a scam. Trump warned them at the UN to stop it. They're going to ruin their countries over it. And he's right. He's right. He's right on that one. But here we are, Chili con Carney, praising China. Oh, there's so. Oh man, oh man. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Nothing. What are we gonna do? Got to get rid of this guy. Got to have a vote of non-confidence. Have the Parti Québécois and whoever else can vote against these guys, the conservatives, and get rid of this guy. Non-confidence. Make him step down and call an election. That's his only hope. And hey, I'm not a huge fan of Pierre Poilievre at all. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. But guess what? We got to get rid of this guy. I don't care who goes in there. He's got to go, this guy. He's killing everything. Killed the deal with the U.S. Now he's got this going on. A nightmare. A nightmare. This is right out of a horror movie. Okay, let's move on to our buddy Jimmy Kimmel. Now, you remember a few days ago, he wasn't canceled or fired. Everybody's kind of talked like that, but he wasn't. He was suspended by ABC. And of course, everybody was crying, oh, freedom of speech, Trump, that dictator, he hired this guy. And the guy was running the FCC, and he told them, you go get that guy off the air right now. And they told ABC that if they didn't get him off the air, they were going to pull their broadcasting license, and ABC suspended him. That's the story. But you know what? He's back. Now, how can all of that be true if he's back? But ABC is saying, go ahead, pull our license. I mean, you know what? This is left-wing nonsense. They suspended him until after the Kirk Memorial, and then they put him right back in. That was it. But he's not going all the way back in, because there are some affiliates of ABC that aren't going to let him back on the air. I think Sinclair Broadcasting has 39 stations, and they're not putting him on. They're going to run news items and stuff. So he's back in. He's going to be back on the air for however long. I don't know how long, because I think his numbers are going to tank. I was hoping they'd keep him off forever, but obviously they didn't. My hopes were dashed when I heard he's coming back on. And you know what? Not that I even care about Jimmy Kimmel. I never watched the show. I thought the guy was a bozo anyway. I mean, without Trump, he wouldn't have a show, basically, because that's all he talks about. But I never watched him. I didn't think he was funny. To me, he's a buffoon. But at the end of the day, he's going back on, and we'll see how he does. His ratings have been tanking. That's mostly the reason ABC got rid of him. And now we're going to see that 100 million people worldwide and 200,000 or 300,000 or more Charlie Kirk supporters were at the rally, and I don't think many of them will be watching Kimmel. And he might go the way of Bud Light and Cracker Barrel when this all comes down. ABC may change their mind on it pretty quick. So the reality is he's back. And we'll see how far his ratings tank before they get rid of him again. And when he does get rid of, he can always go to Dildo, Newfoundland, because they got him. He's the honorary mayor there in Dildo. And the people of Dildo have told him, come on back home and be the mayor here. You can be the mayor here. And everything will be good. Everything will be good. So there you go. Jimmy's back. Like it or not, he's back on the airwaves. For the time being. We'll see. Gotta get to my third sponsor, Hamel Machine Company. And you know, whenever an industry moves into a city like Niagara Falls, or any city for that matter, the first thing they look for is a really, really good machine shop. Someone who knows what they're doing. Because when their machines break down, they need them fixed. And they need them fixed tout sweet. No fooling around. Time is money. Hamill's been in Niagara Falls since 1948, helping small and large industry move through their problems. Something breaks, Hamill goes over there, takes a look at it, and either fixes it or reverse engineers it with their 3D printers and water jet cutters. Why? Because they can. They don't have to wait for parts to come from around the world. They can just get Hamill Machine Shop to fix it right away. Time is money. They save them time. But Hamill has the expert staff, the engineers, the computer people. They have electrical engineer. You name it. They have people there that can take these problems, fix them, but not only fix them. They're innovators. They make them work better. More production is more bottom line revenue, and that's what they do. And they ship their inventions, I like to call them, around the world. In the agricultural product industry, in the wine industry, in the food product industry, it doesn't matter. Any industry, they help, they innovate, and they make the machines work more efficient. They make them work better. More production is more revenue. Hamill Machine Company. Go to hamillmachine.ca, see what they offer. You'll see the beautiful stuff that they do, but they haven't forgot about the little guy. You need something done around your house, an axle broke, sheared a pin on your snowblower, whatever you need machined and done, they can do it. Fabricate something for you. It doesn't matter. They can do it. Hamill Machine Company, been around since 1948. Give them a call if you need something done. And, of course, support our sponsors because they support the show. They support the city. They're good corporate citizens. Now, the big thing yesterday was the big news from the Trump administration regarding autism. Um, he's got Mehmet Oz there, and he's got Robert F. Kennedy Jr. there, and they've been looking into a lot of different things like vaccinations, and they've come up with this information regarding autism. And according to the experts and everything, the investigations they have done, Tylenol, acetaminophen, is what is a problem drug. And when I say drug, I mean, not non-prescription drug, over-the-counter drug, Tylenol. It's the brand name for acetaminophen. And that's one of the causes of autism, especially when pregnant women are taking them to control fevers. So they've advised pregnant women to stay away from Tylenol when they're pregnant. Because there are ties with acetaminophen and autism. If pregnant women get a fever, they're best to tough it out or take as little as needed. If they absolutely have to. Doctors already discourage pregnant women from taking Advil or ibuprofen because of their link to birth defects. And that left acetaminophen the only over-the-counter drug they could take. But now even that is shown to have a definite effect on causing autism in children. So, not good. Now, fevers can also cause the risk to pregnant women. So there's that balance of, taking care of that fever because the fever itself can cause problems with the fetus. So what can a woman do? Well, it's a dilemma. Since not treating a fever could be as bad for the unborn as not controlling it with Tylenol. It could be even worse. So, with the advice of your doctor, weigh the benefits versus the risks and just try to stay away from it. That's what President Trump and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Mehmet Oz said. As well, the group of medical professionals said that the cocktail of vaccines they give kids at an early age is also linked to autism. And we've heard this one for a long, long time. And a lot of people had said this. Well, now it's confirmed. And they're recommending the vaccinations be spread out over 4 or 5 years, so that there's only one vaccination per year rather than giving children one big cocktail dose of these vaccines at once. So this is the latest thing that's going on, and this is what they came up with yesterday in this press briefing. The key here, though, is that finally an administration led by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is doing something about the epidemic we've seen of autism in kids. I mean, when we were kids, we really never heard of autism. I mean, there was no spectrum or diagnosis of autism. Kids were just kids. Some kids were slow. Some kids, there goes Bob from Hamel Machine Company right now. Some kids were slow. Some kids were up. Some kids were smarter. I mean, we really never got into the autism or the spectrum. But now they are. Trump also announced a drug, leucovorin, that could treat cerebral folate deficiency in autism symptoms. So this was interesting. FDA Commissioner Marty Makary, National Institutes for Health Director Hey Bhattacharya, and Centers for Medicare and Medical Services Administrator Mehmet Oz all pointed to research that suggested leucovorin, I got to get it's right, these medical names, aka folinic acid, may help children who are deficient in folate, which is a vitamin. So this drug could replenish the folate, and they said there was evidence from tests that children with autism can improve their verbal communications by taking this drug. So that's a nice breakthrough, and they're gonna make it so that you can get it for your child with autism. And they emphasize that the drug is not a cure for autism, but a treatment to help verbal communication. So, I mean, this isn't the be all to end all. It's nothing that some people are saying all along, but it is something solid that you can do to help prevent your child from getting autism when they're unborn, and for helping them treat autism to some level when they are born and autism is discovered. So this is all good news. This is all a good thing. And at the end of the day, they're making strides towards finding cures for some of these diseases. Robert F. Kennedy, Mehmet Oz, and the rest of the crew have been working very hard under Trump's direction to find cures for a lot of different things. And they're out there doing it. And Robert F. Kennedy spent a lifetime looking at these different problems and trying to find solutions for them. And now he's in a place where he can really, really do some good. And congratulations to him. Congratulations to Mehmet Oz. And congratulations to President Trump. This breakthrough could lead to other breakthroughs, which is huge for any parent who has a child with autism. Okay. Anybody else following this 3-eye atlas that I've been talking about over the last few months? Well, it's this thing, and I call it a thing, object, out there beyond the stars in our solar system that came from outside of our solar system and has been behaving unlike any comet anybody has ever witnessed. And it's getting closer and closer. And as it does, there's more concern for exactly what it is and what's going on with it, because now they know it's not a comet. It's not a comet. It doesn't display any characteristics of a comet. It's not burning off ice and water and everything else that comets burn off with a big long tail. It's burning off carbon. And they're saying it's not a comet. It is a controlled object that is smart. It's being controlled by somebody. What the moves it's making, the corrections in course it's taking are not natural. They can't be done naturally, randomly. They have to be controlled. And this thing's headed right for Mars now. It's changed its course, and it's a collision course with Mars. It may not stay like that. And eventually it's going to either go around Mars or hit it, but it's going to go around it and head towards the sun, where we'll lose sight of it at the end of October, I think they said. And once it gets behind the sun, you can't see it through the glare. And that's when it's going to be closest to Earth. and then they'll swing around and head back out into interstellar space. Maybe. Maybe. They don't know. As the James Webb Space-based telescope, and along with other Earth-based telescopes, get a closer look at this object, anomalies such as course direction and speed are being discovered. Things that defy any known ability in naturally occurring comets, which has everyone in a panic. Is this thing headed for Earth? Is it a sentinel? Is it a scout? Nobody knows. Can it bend light so that the real size of the object is cloaked? Nobody knows. Has it been here before? But Earthlings didn't have the technology to see it. Now we do. We have AI, we have projections, we have the James Webb telescope. We never had any of that, say, in 1970, 75, in the 70s. So it might have been here. We might not even have known it. There are like a million questions to what this thing is, what it's doing, and why it's here. And very few answers other than it's coming our way and on the same plane as the planets. Now, governments are taking this seriously. All governments with space ability are preparing for the worst scenario. This thing heading directly towards Earth. The data collector says it has 9 probes with it, following it, these orbs. And the question is, will these probes split up and take their own trajectories? And where are they going to go? Is this thing dropping little spacecraft out of it? Nobody's sure exactly what they are. Weapons, intelligence gathering devices, sentinels. Who are they talking to? Why are they here? Are they even talking to us on Earth? Is everything they're doing meant for something else? Something else out in the universe? Is everything they're saying and doing meant for some entity that was on Earth millions of years ago and is hiding out and ready to awake? Did we just intercept these messages they're sending out? These distinct time messages, kind of by accident. We're just in the right place, the right time, discovered it. Now we can decipher them. And in the end of the day, where are they going? Where are they headed? Now, if 3i Atlas isn't weird enough, Swan R2 is also on the way, another interstellar traveler that defies logic. Their energies defy our physics. The universe is knocking. Are we going to let them in? And it's funny because years ago, Stephen Hawking said, you shouldn't be sending these Voyagers and probes and all these things out in the universe. Somebody might see it and then they'll know exactly where we are because you gave them a map. And they might show up one day. And that wouldn't be a good thing. It never works out well for the lesser technology people. And here we are. No matter what they are, what they're doing, time is running out. By the end of October, they will apparently dip behind the sun and continue back out into interstellar space, which is where they are believed to come from. Or do they? Who knows? You have to stay tuned to this. And of course, everybody on Earth would love to get something up there to meet it. But we just don't travel at the speeds. This thing is doing like 150,000 miles an hour. And nothing that we have can even come close to this. It takes 6 months, 3 days to get to the moon, 6 months to get to Mars. This thing traveling at this speed could do it in like a minute and a half. Or an hour and a half, sorry. About 90 minutes. 150,000 miles an hour. So we just don't have the ability to get there and see more about it. And we have to get as much as we can now before it disappears behind the glare of the sun and we don't see it at all. I mean, it could be eating energy from the sun to power it. They don't know, but there are lights on it. There's something going on with it. Don't know if it's good or bad. So stay tuned to this one. This is getting more interesting as we close in on the 1st of October and then roll towards Halloween, the end of October. What's going on with this in Swan R2? Crazy, crazy stuff. But those things are out there. Okay, we're going to go over to Putin in Russia in a second here. But before that, I want to get to my fourth sponsor, Niagara Parks Commission. And when we talk about Niagara Parks Commission, 14 million people come here a year, and millions upon millions, hundreds of millions, maybe billions of people have been here. And they've gone down to the Niagara Parks. They've seen what a great job and how beautiful it is with the Niagara Parks Commission taking care of 32 miles of the most beautiful parkway in the world, and also centerpiece by one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, Niagara Falls itself. And us as Niagara Falls citizens, we don't get down there enough. I hear the falls every night from my front porch, but I very rarely go down there. We've seen it so many times. I've been down there so many times, and we just don't bother with it. But 14 million tourists sure come here. And when they go down the falls, they go right to the brink of the falls at the Table Rock House, and they watch the falls, and it is really rapture like. You got to get in a trance watching the water go over the falls and dropping a couple hundred feet into the gorge below. That's not where the Niagara Parks Commission ends. They have scenic tunnels. You can go right up to the edge of the falls. You can almost stick your hand out and have the falls water drop on it. They've refurbished an old power station that was working in the early 1900s to supply power to the Northeast in Canada. Unbelievable. They've redone it so you can walk down a waste tunnel right to the edge of the river where all the water went after it went through the turbines. You can go up to the Spanish aerial car and take a trip right across the whirlpool. And that's where the water meets the turn to go to Lake Ontario from Lake Erie after going down over the falls. And now, the granddaddy of them all, they've got Niagara Takes Flight. And this is an immersive ride that takes you from Lake Ontario to Lake Erie, down the gorge, traveling through history, seeing the sights. And Niagara Falls is rich in history. If you don't know it, War of 1812 was fought here between the Americans and the British. A lot of history here. This takes you through it. It's a $25 million experience. You can go on it. You can check it out. It's supposed to be fantastic. I haven't been on it yet, but I got to make a point of getting down there. Niagara Parks Commission offers all of this, and they offer attractions passes so you can experience all of it. They also offering parking passes for those in Ontario, I believe, to come down as often as they like and not pay the price of parking. It's just strictly amazing. It's an amazing thing. Niagara Parks Commission's custodian of our beautiful parks. They've done such a wonderful job over the 100 years. They've probably more than 100 years they've controlled it. And we thank them. Thank them for presenting all the different attractions, zip lines, everything down there. And we encourage you to get down there if you live in Niagara Falls, or to come to Niagara Falls and experience all that is the Niagara Parks. NiagaraParks.com is where you go to check out all the different attractions. Go there today and come on to the falls and enjoy yourself. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. Okay, over to Putin and Russia. Now, Putin is getting nervous about these NATO clowns and has positioned missiles in Belarus as tensions in the Eastern Europe spiked. Russian drones have entered Poland several times now. Poland's on edge. They've sent planes up to intercept these things. And a few breached Romanian airspace lately, causing Romania to launch 2 F-16s to track the drones. And both of these countries are NATO countries, putting NATO on alert as well. I don't know what's happening with Putin, why he's doing this. If it's just a mistake, nobody knows. But one thing, the other countries aren't appreciating it. And I've heard, and I don't know how true this is. This is one thing somebody said: the Ukraine's probably getting these drones and reprogramming them, and then sending them off into Romania and that to make them think the Russians did it. I don't know about that one. Seems a little bit far fetched, but hey, you know what? All's fair in love and war, right? Russia has been conducting war games in Belarus that involved 100,000 servicemen and about 10,000 units of weapons and equipment, some of which will remain, including hypersonic missiles. So this is concerning. for places like Poland and the Ukraine and Estonia and some of these other countries that are right on the border. NATO Secretary General Mark Toot referenced Moscow's hypersonic missiles, noting they shatter the notion that Spain or Britain is any safer than Russia's neighbors, Estonia or Lithuania. Let's agree with this alliance of 32 countries, that's NATO, that we all live on the eastern flank. Meanwhile, Putin has outlined a revision of Moscow's nuclear doctrine. He did that a while ago, saying that any nation's conventional attack on Russia that is supported by a nuclear power will be considered a joint attack on Russia, clearly aimed at discouraging the West from allowing the Ukraine to strike Russia with longer range weapons that the West has been sending them that can reach into Moscow and deeper into Russia. And Russia said, if you do that, we're going to take it that this is a nuclear situation because countries that give them and control these missiles do have nuclear capability. Now in Canada, oh boy, every time I talk about Canada, I go, oh boy. Carney has already committed boots on the ground in the Ukraine if needed, along with Britain and France doing the same thing with them. While Trump has done all he can to bring peace to the region, these guys are just wanting a war and egging Russia on. I mean, Trump had the big meeting in Alaska just a short couple months ago to try to straighten this out, and they couldn't do it. He said, "Hey, I've done all I can. I've done the best I can. If nobody wants to come to the table, if they're looking for a war, they're going to get it. They're going to get it." And it looks like France and England and the other NATO countries are just waiting for a war with Russia. It almost looks like they're trying to start one. And if they put boots on the ground, that's going to definitely mean something's going to happen, because that's a real big threat to Russia. Even though Russia, at the same time, has North Korean troops on the ground with them. So, hey, you got to flip a coin in this one, baby, because I have no idea what's going to happen over there. It just heats up and heats up. They say they don't want war, but they do everything to show that they do want war. Trump's trying to straighten out. They're not playing ball with anything. He wants to get straightened out in it. I guess it's going to have to be between Zelensky and Putin, and Zelensky definitely does not want to cut off his cash cow because he's getting billions along with all kinds of weapons, even though 1 million of his people have been killed. He don't care. So it's up in the air what's going to happen, but certainly these incursions into other countries are not going to bode well for peace. It's a mess. It's a mess over there. Let me put it that way. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Tomorrow is Habsolutely. We're going to talk about the Habs, all show. So I know the Your City, Your Voice people probably won't tune in unless they're Habs fans. But hey, we have a good time doing the show, and you may be entertained by it. Who knows? Tune in if you got nothing else to do. If anything, you'll learn to hate the Habs even worse than you already do, probably. If you're not a Habs fan. But if you're a Habs fan, you're going to be very happy. Anyway, my name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from the studios of 4680Q Radio, downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for Your City, Your Voice. And of course, Habsolutely on Wednesdays at noon. Promises made, promises kept. We're here giving you our opinion on the latest. Hey, God bless you all. Have a good day. And you know what? Support our sponsors, please. They support the city. They're good corporate citizens. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue and soon to be on Kaler and Thorold Stone Road with their new store. Hamel Machine Company, who we just saw all the people from Hamel walk by. Good people. Support our sponsors. And, of course, the Niagara Parks Commission. 100 years of excellence. I mean, they're really, really good. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you on tomorrow for sure with Absolutely, but Thursday for Your City, Your Voice. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the weather. Hopefully, it doesn't rain anymore today and you can get outside and do some stuff. Have a great day. See you soon.